This week, I'm maxing out on Amazon Vine and ordering 8 items per day for 7 days in a row. Is it possible to find 56 great items, or will my house end up filled with a bunch of useless crap? Join me as I max out on Amazon Vine and we order, test, and review 8 products per day, the most you're allowed to get, and we're doing it all for free. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video today. I've been reviewing products on Amazon Vine for about 9 years now, and I typically only find 2 or 3 items a week that I want to order, even though as a gold tier reviewer, I'm able to order up to 8 items per day. So I wanted to see if I could even find 8 items per day that were useful and that I wanted to review, how I would feel when it was all over, and whether or not I could keep up such a strenuous pace of reviewing 8 items per day. As I've said in my previous Amazon Vine videos, writing reviews has never been difficult for me, but I've never challenged myself to do this many in such a short time frame. I hope I'm up for it. Day 1 started off not so promising. Before we get started looking for items, I wanted to give you a little overview of what the Vine landing page looks like. So you can see here there's 3 tabs. There's recommended for you, there's available for all, and there's additional items. So recommended for you is typically where the better quality things end up, the name brand items, and the things that the algorithm thinks that you'll want to review, or things based on what it knows about you, what you've reviewed in the past, or what you've ordered from Amazon in the past, what it thinks you're going to want to review. So it puts all those things here. Now today it's pretty slim because there's only 3 items on there. In order to get the 8 items I need to order today, I was going to have to dig a little deeper. We see there now something new has just popped up just this second. Cooling Relief Pain Cream. Well, I'm going to tell you that this is something that I could use as an old man who likes to work out. I'm going to go ahead and order this. Now we're going to start in on the Big Daddy. This is the additional items page. There's 6,580 things up for offer today. You can see on the side here, I'll turn myself off real quick. You can see on the side here, they're all listed into categories. Sometimes I'll go category specific and I'll just click on electronics, or I'll click on home and kitchen, but today I'm not going to do that for the purposes of finding interesting things to order and demonstrating how Vine works and trying to max out my 8 items per day. I'm going to just look through them one by one and point out some things that might be interesting. I don't know, this manatee is pretty cute. Lightning to USB-A cable. So here is a 2-pack of collapsible water bottles. I skipped the colonic irrigation tubes, which, while well reviewed, weren't to my personal taste. After scrolling a few pages, I came upon these nipple shields, and as a somewhat avid runner, I know that avoiding nipple chafing is a must, so I grabbed these as item number 5. I had already scrolled through 14 pages of items, and I'm already starting to get concerned for the future of the challenge. 3 more items to go. We're 14 pages deep in the list. And the thing about this challenge is they only add 2, 3, 4 pages of these things per day. And you can see how few I'm ordering. I feel like by day 4 or day 5, I'm going to be ordering things that are just completely out of my wheelhouse, but I'm going to have to do them anyway to fulfill the requirements of this challenge. Page 15 had nothing, and the same went for pages 16 through 20, but finally on page 21 I came across a pack of 4 rechargeable batteries, which I ordered, and a few pages later I found a medical device, which will be very, very easy for me to test. I'm always very curious when Amazon Vine offers medically related devices. For example, this THC urine panel sample testing. Now, without giving too much away, if these tests were accurate and if I were to run them on myself, they would most assuredly come back positive. To wrap up day 1, I ordered a set of 3 pairs of sunglasses. There were a lot of options to choose from, but I decided on the default option because I like the pink ones. I'll hesitate to call day 1 a success because I wouldn't have ordered any of these items if it weren't for this challenge, but I did get some things that will be easy to review and will be somewhat useful. 8 items on day 1. We got to page 25. So it looks like we've ordered 1 item for every 3 pages of offerings. Page 1, 2, probably 3 and 4 will be all new tomorrow when we come again to check in. But for day 1, I feel like that was pretty successful. We only got about an eighth of the way through the entire offerings on Vine. And let's hope that day 2 has things that are as good, if not better, than day 1. Okay, day 2 of the ordering 8 items per day challenge. Day 2 got off to a slow start. I had some running around to do in the morning, so I only sat down to order things at about 1:14 p.m. Usually items are added in the very early morning, so the later I order, the fewer good items will be left. As I do every day, I stopped at the Available for All tab to see some familiar items. Same thing as yesterday. The breast shields are still here, so that's exciting. So over to additional items we go, and the selection was still pretty dismal. I was starting to lose hope when on page 6 I found this collection of play money which looked interesting, so I grabbed that, and a little lower down on that page was some magnesium cream for sore muscles. I decided to order that so I could compare it to the muscle cream I ordered yesterday. 2 pages later, I found a set of glass bottles. Not sure what I'm going to use them for, but it's always been handy to have some extra containers around, so I ordered those as well. Riding on a high from getting those sweet glass bottles, I pressed on, but by page 9 I was starting to see things from yesterday, which means there was nothing else new for today. So we're deep enough in the additional items list now that we're seeing things that we saw yesterday. So I'm going to try to skip ahead to, I think we left off at page 20-something yesterday, so I'm going to start at page 30. So the scrolling continued, and I managed to find a couple of things I wanted to order. These USB adapters are small and easy to review, so I grabbed them, and I decided to double down on an order from yesterday. Maybe I'll order these, what are they called? Outdoor King polarized sunglasses for men, men's sunglasses, sports sunglasses, UV 400 protection for running, cycling, golf. I scrolled through hundreds more items and finally found the last 3 items I needed to order for today. Some incredibly expensive AI-generated art, some prop food that got a terrible French review, bad or terrible, very small, smaller than even my hand, and they arrived broken, and some inspirational crocheted little food characters. When I finished ordering the items for day 2, I was already dreading writing some of the reviews. I mean, what can you say about AI-generated cat art and glass bottles? But at this point, I didn't know just how dismal things were going to get. Day 3 started off very early in the morning as I was having trouble sleeping. At about 1:30 a.m., I decided to check my recommended list, and I came across this cool-looking keyboard, so I decided to order it. I kept refreshing the page for about half an hour. When this case of 12 Mio water enhancers came up, I decided to grab those as well. As I've said before, the earlier you can get to the list, the better items you're likely to get. By 10:15 a.m., when I started looking for the last 5 items of the day, there wasn't much left in my recommended list. The breast pump things were still available on the available for all list, and so I started scrolling the additional items list, hoping to find some hidden gems. Things were actually pretty good on the available for all list. After scrolling only 5 pages, I managed to find a pretty cool looking alarm clock, and of course another pair of sunglasses. We're halfway to our limit, and I've only been scrolling for about 5 minutes, so today was shaping up to be a pretty good day. But sadly, it looks like page 5 is where my luck ran out, as there was nothing else I wanted to order, and we were all caught up on new items for the day. While scrolling through seemingly endless pages of items I can order for free is pretty fun, sometimes I want a more targeted approach, and luckily Vine offers this search feature where you can just search for whatever you want. So sometimes what I do is I type in products that I have or bits of electronics that I have and see if I can find some accessories for them. My search for iPhone 16 Pro accessories was a total bust, as was my search for AirPods Pro 2. So I broadened the search a little bit more with terms like GoPro Hero 12, DJI Action 5, and even something super generic like USB-C. Still, I didn't see anything that I thought would be good to review. Oftentimes when I can't find anything just by searching for random search terms, I can narrow the parameters a bit by selecting some of these categories on the side here. I've already gone through the electronics quite extensively, but I'm going to click on home and kitchen and see if there's anything worthwhile in there, and I will try to go all the way back to the beginning of the list and see if there's anything hiding deep in the depths of the home and kitchen section that I'll find interesting. I decided to get another piece of AI art. It's another cat picture that might go well with the one I ordered yesterday. Finally, we're in the home stretch with only 3 more items to go. I scrolled past a ton more AI art, lots of appliance parts, and a bunch of robot vacuum accessories when I came upon these cute espresso cups, so I decided to grab those. There was nothing else in the kitchen section, so I thought I'd take a look at the curiously named Everything Else section. I don't often look specifically in the everything else section, but I thought I'd give it a shot today just to see if there's anything cool or crazy or interesting in here. Unsurprisingly, the everything else section was a bust, so I switched over to the clothing section and looked at the menswear subsection. How can I say no to Grinder Punch sunglasses? These are Grinder Punch sunglasses. I don't know what that name means, but it's a hilarious name for sunglasses, and I'm definitely going to order these to add to my already growing sunglasses collection. The Grinder Punch sunglasses gave me a bit of a morale boost, so I decided for the last item of day 3, I'd look for something completely stupid and random to finish off the day. Over in the industrial and scientific section, something caught my eye that would go perfectly well with an item I ordered on day 1. On day one of the challenge, I ordered the THC testing strips, and I'm going to use them on myself, but it occurred to me that I need something to dip the testing strips into. Well, luckily, the industrial and scientific section had these perfectly adequate specimen bottles, and I'm 100% going to order these specimen bottles. Day 3 had been my most successful day so far, but that's not saying much considering the offerings on day 1 and day 2. The value of the items that I ordered on day 3 was $279.70, the highest so far, and I even managed to snag 2 items off of my recommended list, which to this point had been a total dud. Today, some of the items I ordered on days 1 and 2 started showing up, so I was able to start the process of unboxing and testing those out. But at this point in the challenge, I was getting a little discouraged about whether or not I'd be able to find anything cool or valuable or interesting to put in this video. Sure, things like specimen bottles and fake food are kind of funny, but at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is show that even though there's a whole bunch of useless nonsense on Vine, you still have the opportunity to occasionally review something interesting or cool or something that people might actually want to buy. Another day, another seemingly endless scroll through pages and pages of nonsense. Early in the morning, I was able to snag this pair of game controllers, but that really was the only interesting thing I came across. After grabbing some Canada-themed items and a pack of AirTag holders, I just gave up and ended up ordering 3 more packs of sunglasses to reach my 8-item goal for the day. And it was here on day 4, after I unboxed the many items that were arriving, when I started to question different aspects of this project. I set out to make this video fun and light and maybe find some interesting or unique items to make fun of, but at the end of day 4, I started to feel a little bit guilty. Like the packaging was really starting to pile up. Like 8 items per day produces a lot of packaging. So what I decided to do was hold on to all the bits of packaging until the end of the video so I could show what ordering 8 items per day of Vine looks like in terms of packaging. I also started to wonder if this challenge was incredibly wasteful. I mean, yes, it's incredibly wasteful, but seeing the packaging start to pile up and not really finding many useful items made it feel like an especially bad idea. I found myself thinking about the resources that went into making, for example, these Canadian flag keychains that were priced at $5.99. There's a factory somewhere that's consuming energy to make these, and someone who works there spent their whole day making these. Then once they're made, they're probably driven by a truck to a shipping container and put on a ship to cross the Pacific, offloaded at a port, trucked to a warehouse, trucked to an Amazon warehouse, trucked to another Amazon warehouse near where I live, packaged up in cardboard, and then delivered to my house. All the energy and probably a massive carbon footprint, so what? I can have inexpensive Canadian flag keychains? It was all starting to seem so colossally wasteful. Mindful of how day 4 finished off and how I was feeling about being wasteful, I decided to refocus and be more selective about what I was ordering, but still trying to get up to that 8 item per day maximum. We're getting started a bit late on day 5. It's just before noon here. I was up early in the morning again. I think somehow my brain has been programmed to wake myself up at like 1 o'clock in the morning now to check my Amazon Vine queue, but that's okay because I did end up getting 2 pretty interesting items. I got this hydration packets that you like pour in your water. There's 90 of them, so that's a lot. And then this one actually is going to be really useful. It's like a Ugreen, really high wattage power bank for like laptops and tablets and stuff. In the office supplies section, I rarely find anything interesting, but when I came upon this spiral notepad, I thought one of my kids might put it to good use, so I grabbed that. I thought briefly about getting these unnecessarily aggressive suitcase tags, but decided instead to check out the toys and games section where, on the brink of just giving up for the day and ordering more sunglasses, I found another set of motivational crocheted animals similar to the vegetable ones I ordered on day 2. Finally got to the last item. It was a bit of a slog today. I had to scroll through so many different sections and so many different pages to find anything even remotely interesting. Today was by far the most expensive day on the challenge. I've got $368.92 worth of stuff. I'll let you know at the end of the buying part of the video what the value of all the products I ordered was altogether. But for now, I'm really looking forward to day 6 and day 7 because this challenge is really starting to wear on me. I'm really just looking through things now and just ordering whatever I can find. I'm not excited at all about ordering things. On day 1, I was pretty pumped just to go back into the Vine archives and see if there was anything cool that I could find. But after going through it for 5 straight days now, I'm not convinced there's really anything too worthwhile deep in the bowels. Hopefully, maybe day 6 and day 7 will present me with some really good stuff. but I gotta be honest with you, I'm losing hope and losing faith that anything good is gonna come up. After having completed the ordering for day 5, I found myself thinking about the pages and pages and pages of items that are available to me and presumably the other hundreds of Vine reviewers across Canada. I've spent literal hours scrolling through 7,000 items, and I've so far struggled to find 35 that I actually want to order. Now, there's gotta be a market for cat AI art and specimen bottles and random plastic food, otherwise people wouldn't be making them, right? Leaving all that aside for the moment, I was now ready to start reviewing some of the products that had been delivered. Later on in this video, I'll talk more about how I review things and talk about some of the items that I've ordered this week, but for now, I just have to put my head down and write, and write, and write. On day 6, I got myself all set up to record, but I didn't actually hit the start recording button on OBS, so here's a list of things that I ordered. More sunglasses, a portable hard drive, cable, an earwaxing kit, a pack of 10 headphones for kids, a screen protector for my phone, USB-C hub, this Kenya sticker, and an earwax removal tool. Another day of random nonsense. In hindsight, it might have been a good thing that I wasn't recording on day 6 because I was feeling really negative. Things were arriving fast, and I had already spent a few hours the day before just writing reviews and getting the items sorted. I was starting to regret the amount of time that this challenge was taking. When the last day arrived, I was honestly so relieved. Being a Vine reviewer has always been a fun and lucrative hobby, but when a hobby turns the corner into an obligation, it becomes more onerous and a lot more of an obligation. Now, I completely understand how this sounds like, oh, man, I'm so sick of getting free stuff, boo-hoo. But anyone who's had a hobby that they've then turned into a job knows kind of a little bit about how I was feeling. Day 7, brush shields, still there. As is now tradition, I ordered my daily pair of sunglasses, and I scrolled and scrolled looking for 7 other items to fill today's quota. I briefly contemplated ordering these silicone breastplates, but much like car parts, I would have no idea how to properly and accurately review these, so I continued on. I got yet another piece of AI art and an insulated lunch bag, followed by a long dog leash for Juna, more AirTag cases, a 20-pack of snack containers, Canadian flag patches, and the last item of the week, a kitchen drawer organizer. Oh my god, I'm finally done. Obviously, I'm not going to test out all 56 items on camera because then this video would be hours and hours and hours long. But I did decide to test a few of them out on camera just to kind of show you what my review process looks like and highlight some of the good and bad items. Now that I'd finally collected all 56 items, I could start to focus on testing and actually writing the reviews. It's always convenient to be able to test things at the same time, which worked out great for the medical sample bottles and the THC test strips. The test came back positive, so these work. 5 stars. Same goes for the sunglasses. You can just grab a bunch of them and just be outside and see how they feel and see how the lenses look. Good lenses. They stay on my face because of the rubberized arm. 5 stars. And the hydration drink powder and espresso cups can also be tested at the same time. The powder took a long time to dissolve in 250 milliliters of water, and it tasted not amazing. Why is it so bitter? 3 stars. But not a lot of the things I ordered warranted an on-camera test. Things like the fake food were so bad I just tossed them out immediately, and other things like the AI art and stickers just sort of speak for themselves. Other things are easy to review on camera by virtue of what they are. For example, I needed to record some footage using these neutral density filters on my GoPro Hero 12, so that makes adding video to the review pretty simple. While it wasn't sunny out when I had the chance to test, I could clearly see the filter doing its job. Good versatility and useful. 5 stars. Cables are always easy to review. Either they work or they don't. This USB cable that I use for my time machine on my Mac Mini worked perfectly well, and it only took a few seconds to test. For things like this, I'll also usually write about the materials the cable is made of, whether or not it appears durable, and whether it transfers at a rate appropriate for the advertised rating. In the case of this cable, it's USB 3.0, and the speeds were at that level. 5 stars. Item-specific products like AirTag holders are similar. Either they work or they don't. These ones hold the AirTag tightly and protect it from mild impact. 5 stars. For the most part, though, a lot of the things I ordered didn't really need extensive testing. These Canadian flag pins, for example, I only gave 3 stars because the proportions of the flag are all wrong. For items that have a lot of features or have different modes to test, I typically take a lot longer to fully test them out before I start writing reviews. When I got this Roborock vacuum from Vine, I used it daily for about 3 weeks before I felt I'd worked with it enough to really write a good review. But most of the stuff I ordered this week wasn't as good or as complicated, so I was able to test them and review them pretty quickly. Altogether, the total value of the 56 items I ordered this week was $1,422.93. The most expensive item was the Ugreen laptop battery at $149.99, followed by the Mechlens keyboard at $113.99, and both of those were great. The least expensive items were the 2 pieces of AI cat art at $3.90 each. To say this week was a disappointment would be a bit of an understatement. Now, it's not that I didn't have fun ordering these items or putting this video together, but this was one of the worst weeks that I've ever seen in terms of the quality of items available to me on Vine. So the best item was probably the Ugreen power bank, no question, followed closely by the Manatee or maybe even the keyboard, but honestly, that's about it. Of the 56 items I ordered, there were 3 that I actually thought was good. And I mean, by day 4, I was already starting to feel discouraged, like I wouldn't be able to order anything worthwhile. And that's actually how it ended up. But that's just life as a Vine reviewer. You have good weeks and you have bad weeks, and sometimes you get lots of cool stuff, and other times you get plastic food and specimen bottles. The other thing that took a lot of my enjoyment out of this week was the sheer amount of packaging, cardboard, and plastic that came along with ordering 56 items. I kept all of it so I could show you what a week's worth of maxing out on Amazon Vine looks like. And keep in mind, a lot of the things I ordered were small. I have weeks on Vine where I order furniture and other large items, and the packaging that comes along with some of those is way, way more substantial than any of this week's items. And just to make it clear, I am in no way complaining about being a Vine reviewer, and I'm definitely not taking my privilege for granted in that respect. This week just pointed out a few things to me that I might not have otherwise given a lot of thought to, like how much packaging is involved and the terrible quality of items that some Amazon sellers are putting up for review, and how few good items there are compared to what being a Vine reviewer was like 9 years ago when I started. Like everything, Vine items ebb and flow. You'll have good weeks and bad weeks, but I can't help but think that Amazon has expanded the Vine program to such an extent that it's become in-shitified. They wouldn't keep it going unless it was making them money in some way, be it from sellers paying to have their items available to reviewers or reviewers generating more sales. Having up to 7,000 items available day after day after day highlights just how much crap factories are producing and how low the demand for this crap is. I saw the same items day after day going unclaimed, and if you can't even give them away for free, is there really a ton of demand for sex position selectors, sauna hats, and Nintendo Switch fishing rod controllers? This week's been pretty eye-opening for me, and going forward, I think I'm going to be a lot more judicious about what I choose to order and how I review things. Being an Amazon Vine reviewer is still a really fun hobby, and it makes for some pretty decently popular content, so I'm going to keep going with it as long as they'll have me. If you enjoyed this video, get subscribed because I will be making more Amazon Vine related content in the future, but in the meantime, thanks again for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.